Coming up on this week's episode, fake CFI defrauds students. Update, Delta rescinds 4-year degree requirement for FOs. Frasca sold to FlightSafety. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Let's get into today's stories. Fake CFI defrauds students. The first prosecution of an airman operating without a certificate has been filed, with the filing of indictments for wire fraud and uncertificated airmanship. Matthew Jones of Spanish Fork, Utah is accused of falsely presenting himself as the owner and operator of Noctum Aviation and a certified flight instructor for fixed and rotary wing aircraft. Jones stands accused of defrauding prospective students by presenting himself through text messages and Instagram posts to be a capable and legal instructor for the purposes of obtaining funding for his daily living expenses. The indictment describes Jones establishing a contract to instruct a student in pursuit of a pilot rating, which led to the creation of a joint bank account to be used for flight training expenses. Jones is accused of stealing $9,958 from this would-be student throughout a 2-week span, paying for bills, rent, personal purchases, and cash withdrawals. This case is a reminder for aviators and students to thoroughly vet their hired professionals before granting access to large sums of money. Coming up after the break, Taliban MD-530 crashed during training.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the flight training industry, we're going to be summarizing some shorter but interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. First up, Taliban MD-530 crashed during training. The Taliban confirmed a video making the rounds earlier this week that featured one of their inherited MD-530 helicopters coming in low for a landing, only to abruptly lift and veer off horizontally before impacting the ground. A Taliban spokesman blamed technical issues with the aircraft, saying the 2 injured pilots are expected to recover. He says, quote, "The helicopter crashed and is destroyed. Our pilots are injured, but we don't have fatalities. One of the pilots is in stable condition, another pilot is in critical condition," end quote. UND selects PPL scholarship recipients. The UND Aerospace Foundation has announced a $300,000 award from the Ray Foundation for the exclusive use of scholarships to aid 25 U.S. military veterans in their quest to become aviators. The scholarships will cover an estimated 80% of the cost to obtain a private pilot certificate at the UND Phoenix Flight Training Center from February 2022 onwards. Once they have their PPL in hand, students will be in a position to use their GI Bill benefits to continue their training on to advanced training certifications. 2021 was the safest skydiving year in history. The United States Parachute Association announced with pleasure that the overall safety rate that has been improving year over year has again beat the previous year, with 10 civilian skydiving deaths throughout 2021. The downswing began in 2018 when deaths dropped to 13, bringing the fatality index to 0.39 out of every 100,000 jumps. The year after saw a rise to 15 until 2020's drop in overall skydiving activity brought the index to mirror its 2018 record. 2020 saw 11 fatalities, an all-time low for the era. GAMA opens 2022 scholarship applications. The General Aviation Manufacturers Association has begun accepting applications for the Edward W. Stimpson Aviation Excellence Award Scholarship, granted to graduating U.S. high school seniors pursuing education in aviation. The lucky recipient selected will get $2,000 for the furtherance of their career. The award honors late GAMA president and founder Edward W. Stimpson as a way to foster the aerospace workforce and advance the careers of young up-and-comers establishing a foothold in the business. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Update: Delta rescinds 4-year degree requirement for FOs. Delta Airlines has notified prospective pilot candidates that the company has reduced its minimum hiring requirements. The reception was mixed, with more than a few non-industry commenters decrying the decline in standards. Those in the pilot career pipeline should be excited, as the drawing back of the non-essential standards in the biggest legacy carriers means that at last the long-prophesied pilot shortage may be upon us. Generations of aviators have been advised of an industrial crisis that's always a few convenient years away, when the demand for pilots will far outstrip supply and formerly lofty demands for even entry-level flight jobs could return to reality. College degrees, like so many other elements of the modern economy, have suffered from their own detrimental form of inflation across the board. Job offerings that once used the 4-year bachelor's degree as an indicator of hard work and academic rigor have all moved up market as a flood of technically credentialed students have poured out of institutions with a flotsam of majors only sometimes well-suited for the workforce. Delta's recruiting page says, quote, "After a comprehensive review of our pilot hiring requirements, Delta has decided to make a 4-year college degree preferred rather than required for first officer candidates effective immediately," end quote. After these messages, Frasca sold to FlightSafety.
At Diamond Aircraft, innovation is in our DNA. Whether you're taking to the skies for training or business travel, every aircraft in Diamond's lineup features innovative technology, an industry-leading safety record, superior performance and efficiency, and a comfortable flying experience. No other company has pioneered as many aviation firsts, achieved more milestones, or received the same amount of industry praise as Diamond. Discover why Diamond Aircraft is one of the most trusted manufacturers in aviation at diamondaircraft.com.
Aviation Safety Resources is disrupting the market for aircraft emergency parachute recovery systems. ASR systems are smaller, lighter weight, and offer longer repack cycles than similar products available in the current market. ASR has a recovery system available for every type of aircraft: sport, experimental, light sport, general aviation, urban air mobility, vertical takeoff and landing, electric propulsion, and unmanned aerial systems. Find the right product for your aircraft at aviationsafetyresources.com.
Pilot Communications USA is proud to introduce our latest headsets, the Carbon A1 Active Noise Reduction and the Carbon P1 Passive Headset. Carbon fiber makes our headsets 30% lighter than others, which significantly reduces pilot fatigue. Our BlueLink hand control unit allows you to connect 2 devices at the same time, and the record out capability can send audio to an onboard camera or digital recorder. Get the headset that's so light you may forget you're wearing one at pilot-usa.com.
Welcome back. Frasca sold to FlightSafety. Frasca International has been sold to FlightSafety International, marking the end of 6 decades as a family-owned company based out of the appropriately named Frasca Field in Urbana, Illinois. Frasca President John Frasca and other employees will reportedly remain in place, and the family will continue to retain ownership of the airport and its grounds. FlightSafety has built up its brand as an internationally recognized training provider for a number of aircraft types, and the addition of the Frasca brand builds on years of relationship between the two companies that draw all the way back to their founders. FlightSafety has yet to announce any changes to their new acquisition, with Communications Director Stacy Perkins saying the company's expertise in Level D simulators is a great fit for all involved. She says, quote, "Frasca's strength in training development and ab initio flight training makes this partnership beneficial for both entities. Nothing will drastically change," end quote. Perkins continued, allaying fears of immediate shakeups. Quote, "John Frasca will remain as president and operations will continue as they do today with close collaboration from FlightSafety's simulation team," end quote. Well, that's our program for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!